What's up, guys? I'm practicing my engaging presenter voice. In this video, you are going to see me bush stalking for a day over the dogs. I didn't shoot anything. We got real close to a pig and a deer in that day bush stalking. Then we wake up in the morning, getting ready. The young sidekick that I was with, Tom, shot 2 deer, and he come back, got me. I went down, gave him a hand with the butchery, and he filmed that, and we give you some tips on how to cut an animal's head off properly, how to get a back stake out properly, and how to take hindquarters off properly. Then we shoot 3 goats off a slip and film that, and after that we get some cool drone shots. And after that, we shoot another goat. And the dogs also indicate some other animals, and we talk about some other stuff, and I give you some other helpful tips and information. Okay, so let's jump on the video. Okay, so in this video, we are in the Waioeka Motu area. In this area, it is heavy podocarp bush. There's some beach in there. It's relatively steep. Pretty much all bush hunting. Nice river. Some nice creeks. Some creeks, side creeks, are steep with waterfalls. You can see some of those faces are fairly steep. There's some nice slips there. There's a lot of slips in this area. Most of the ridges and spurs are quite nice to walk along. None of the bush is super open, but none of it's super tight either. It's just real nice middle of the road, a little bit steeper than average. There's red deer, goats and pigs. We started the trip off walking in. It's about a 2-hour walk. And then we both went our separate ways bush stalking. I climbed up, straight up behind the hut, up quite a steep little spur. There's a little bit of sign on the way up, just following the dogs up there. You can see it's beech bush there. That tree right in front of me is a beech tree. As soon as we got a bit of height and we got up to where it opened up a bit, we hit the first little open spot. Print started tracking. You can see him tracking hard right there. It was very fresh. I can just tell by his body language. I was pretty sure fairly early on that he was either tracking a pig or a stag coming into the rut. And I was really suspecting either a boar or a stag coming into the rut because his body language is a little bit weary. He was a little bit slower, weary, stopping to sniff, stopping carefully, sniffing like that. See, he's just sniffing that stick there where the animal's brushed past. Really sniffing, thinking about it. Really characteristic of tracking a pig. And some dogs early on are quite weary when they smell their first couple of stags that are in that real rut mode. You can smell all the testosterone. I don't know, whatever it is. But dogs just know the difference between a boar and a big gnarly rutting stag just from the scent. And we ended up tracking this pig. It just happened to just be walking this ridge, and we tracked him for about 40 minutes. And then I got to this area with a nice view, so I just stopped tracking and dropped down the side about 10 meters just to have a look out and have a good look around. And that's right when we caught up to the pig, and he actually come walking back down the spur towards us. And I was stuck down here in this silly spot. I've just started recording here because I can hear him shuffling down behind me. And I could actually hear him clicking in his tusks. Pigs can make quite a loud clacking sound, grinding their tusks, and they usually do it when they're a bit pissed off, when they think there might be a dog or something around.
They can also do it when they're feeding. Pigs often feed on berries with a hard nut inside, and they do a lot of cracking and crunching, and they'll just walk around casually sort of grinding their tusks as well. And I can hear him moving around the bush right in front of me right there, and I'm waiting, but as you can see I can't see anything. I can't move either, because any movement I make he's going to hear it. He's shuffling around in the crap less than 10 meters away. The wind's right now, but of course within about 15 to 20 seconds, felt a nice breeze on my back. There was a big loud blow and he took off. So from there, just carried on up around the ridge. This loop I was walking was like a loop hunt, so I just stayed on top of the ridge, climbed right up one ridge, down through a little saddle and right up onto the top back ridge. That's where I'm on now, and loop back around and come down the next spur. So it was just a nice little sort of 3 or 4 hour loop, and I'm just quietly making my way along here. Dog in front, that's Print out in front there. That's the dog we train in the Deer Dog Training Blueprint, and he was hunting really nicely. I haven't done much hunting with them. I didn't do barely any hunting with them for about 6 months, and he's really just slotted straight back into it very nicely. He's been very easy to handle, hunting well. Yeah, really stoked. So here we are making our way back down. Coming back down, it got quite steep. We tracked a couple of animals here. A couple of animals had been on top of the ridge at one stage. Just after this actually, I think we'd spooked one. It was very dry conditions underfoot. It was a bit like walking around on cornflakes, and it was quite calm and quiet up there, and I knew it was going to be pretty challenging to get right in on something in those conditions and get a shot away. But it was good just to go for a walk with the dogs and get close to a couple of animals. That was a pretty close shave with that pig. We were pretty close to getting a bit of pork there, and we actually had another run-in with a deer on the way down too. That was pretty close. So from there it was pretty much just back to camp. Everyone was pretty tired from the early start, and quite a big day walking in and hunting all afternoon. So you can see Print just nodding off there. We did the usual stuff, cooked the feed, and man, we were both lying down going to sleep by the time it was dark, and slept right through to about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so here we are walking out to the 2 deer that Tom shot first thing in the morning. He left about 10 minutes before me, and he come running back to camp about 20 minutes after he left, and he'd shot 2 deer.
Nah, you're right. That's fine, get out there.
So I was just saying to Tom before, Tom was cutting the head off like that, cutting in. Everyone knows how to cut a bloody head off, and everyone will hack one off in the end, but I used to work in the meat work standing next to guys that just cut heads off cows all day. So first thing first is stabbing in and cutting out. This nice bloody blunt, by the way. Cutting in through here bluntens your knife real quick. So stabbing in and cutting out, that's the first good tip. Open it up to there. Now there's the neck joint right there. You can start cutting in there, but that joint can actually be quite hard to get to going that way, and it's real hard on your knife too. So you flip it on its side and hold on to the ear and cut in right. See, I'm basically going in under the skin. Right, so my knife point's actually touching her eye there. And it's nice bloody blunt, Tom. And see, I can do that. So I just went in under there and just opened that whole side up. And then I come into the neck joint from the side, and it's much easier to open that way. So that's the neck joint right there. And then if I just open it up, you actually put your knife point inside the joint and see how that just loosened right up there. There's a couple of little sinews actually inside the joint, and it's very hard to get to cutting in. You really want to open up from the side, put your point in there, nip those, and the whole thing just falls open. It really is the easiest way to get a head off any bloody animal. Now we'll drag her up the hill.
So we had quite the battle getting the deer up off this face. It took us quite a while to get them back to the track, and then we finished the butchery off once we were on a bit of flat ground.
If you wanna... so we'll just quickly film taking the hindquarters and back stakes off this, just because we've got a camera here. It's a bit bloody. This was you hit this from the front, eh? Yeah, so it's come through and the bullets bloody broke the guts open and all of that, so it's a bit messy, but we'll tidy it up later when we take the hindquarters off the H-bone. The H-bone's your hip bones. It's not actually H as in the letter H, it's actually A-I-T-C-H, H-bone. But you can see it's a bit bloody dirty in here, but what I'm going to do is just take the whole hindquarters off, all intact, and take the back stakes out. So I'll just clear away a bit of this. This knife isn't very sharp at all either. Right now, so just clear those flaps away. She's all pretty bloody dirty. I don't think we'll worry about the eye fillets there with all that shit all over them. And then it's basically just finding this last joint in the backbone, which there it is right there. Loosen that up. I'm actually not a bloody expert at this because I almost always take the hindquarters straight off the H-bone and bone it out on the hill and carry it out in a pack. So I'm not actually an expert at hitting all these joints. But so that's opened up that last joint, that last backbone joint. It's actually nicking the edge of the hindquarter there, and I'll just give it a big bend to open that up. See, the backbone joints have got these little tabs sticking out the side, so that's the backbone joint there that I've cut through, and you can't actually just cut right, watch out print out these little tabs here, so you can't just cut right through it. You've got to cut in and then work your way around those little bits, otherwise you're hacking and just blunting your knife and getting nowhere. That's why I gave it that big bend to open it up. It's a bloody rough job, but here's our hindquarters, and now we can just sit them over our back like that and carry them out. Now, where am I going to sit this? I'll take the back stakes out. Watch out, print. So I'll just sit the neck here. I've got my bag ready to go, so as soon as I lift these out, I've got somewhere to put them. I'll either sit them on a bag or drape them over a tree or something, drape them over a branch. So obviously for people that have very limited experience, back stakes just run along here. The meat's really only through there that we want. Print, watch out, outside. I'm going to come right down here, give myself heaps of room, taking the skin, opening the skin up. Again, on the skin, always trying to cut out, not cutting in, because as we cut in, we blunting our knife on the hair, and we also cut a lot of hair, and you get more hair everywhere, so you always want to be cutting out. This is a very blunt knife to be giving a butchery demo with. Be bloody careful cutting towards yourself as well. A blunt knife's way more dangerous than a sharp one. outside print, get out. You don't want to cut your dog, obviously. So that's why I come so far down. You can see there's quite a bit of hair and crap around where I cut in. So, but by the time I got up to the back stakes, my opening's quite clean there. Loose hair on your hand and stuff, you can get rid of that by bloody touching down there on the rib cage where we don't even want the meat this time. Now back stakes are real simple. I think that's called the chine bone, the bone that sticks up off the backbone. I'll just come in here, and I'm not cutting down, I'm actually cutting straight in onto the chine bone like that. I'll start right down the end. Just cutting in, getting through all that sinew again, nice blunt as hell. And come right up, guys. Your back steak actually runs right down into the neck, and this is actually your nice end down here. This is what would be your ribeye on a beef. It's right down in there, and that whole top layer on a deer can actually come off. On a beef, you keep that because it's your nice fat on your porterhouse and that, but it's just chewy sinew. And then that also is another layer of peeling the hair and dirt and stuff off. So once I'm there, there's actually, that's what I mean, you can stick real hard to that chine bone and come down, but there's actually a little separation in the muscle there anyway. That's why I just cut in, free that, and then you can basically just run your hand down there and free that, and now that whole back steak is, you can do another run down there, because you've got another series of bones that are like little round lumps. That's them there. So you basically cut in, free it off those, and then cut down in behind those, and now that whole back steak's just sitting on the ribs. Just free that right up there. I've got my little dirty end there where I took my hindquarters off, so I'm just going to nip that off. And now all I'm doing is the first few ribs here are only little short ribs, little chine bones that stick out. I'm just basically finding the end of those, and there's my first rib right down there. It's a bit bloody awkward. And now I'm just laying my knife on, see that's those little short ribs there. I'm just laying my knife right on, finding the very end, and just sliding my knife up those, and it just pulls away. You can also go the other way, it's just I'm on the wrong angle, is tuck your knife tip in there and just slide it along the ribs like that. And now it's at the full length ribs. And like I said, a lot of guys sort of come down to about here and just cut it off, but your back steak actually runs right down into the shoulder, and that end, this end is actually taking it off bloody rough there. I'm doing what I said not to do, but that narrow end of the back steak there is actually the nicest part, and that's what would be your ribeye on a beef. Right, so I'll just rip this other one out real quick. Watch you up, Print. Get outside. one last little thing is instead of just leaving them sitting on a plastic bag like that for the next half hour while we do the other one, I'll actually just, see I just rubbed the dust off this branch. I'll just hang them up like that, and that way all the heat will come out of those in the next 20 minutes, which is way better for your meat. If you do open your meat up like this, so you just take the skin off or take a cut out, bloody good just to hang it up. Same as those hindquarters, we'll get them back to the hut, take the skin off, open it up and hang it up, just with the breeze on it, and get the heat out of the meat as quick as we can. And that makes a huge, that's probably the biggest factor on how long your meat will last hanging up, how good it will taste, how mild it is. Not getting that strong gamey flavour, is getting that heat out of it ASAP. So opening them up, hanging them up like that for half an hour before they go back in the day bag and we carry them back to camp. That's real bloody good. Hey, just a real quick tip when hanging your back steaks in the tree like that, like I just showed you to do, and you've got your back steaks hanging in the tree just over there, and you've got all your gear and your hindquarters and all of that sitting here. Bloody easy to do, and I've done it before and it really sucks. Do all your butchery, sit down for half an hour, pack up your gun, your day bag, put your hindquarters over your back and everything, and walk 2k's back to camp and leave your back steaks hanging in the tree. I've done that and have to come back and get them. One time I did it, and we didn't have time. I got back to camp just before the helicopter come in, and I had my lovely Seeker hind back steaks left hanging in a tree about 5k's away. So that's just that. Bit of a footnote on hanging your back steaks over a branch like that. Tom's just doing the deal on this one. An exact repeat of what we just done.
That's how I'm going to carry mine out. Save me back. Getting shitty.
Oh,
It's not very far.
That's why I leave the arse in too. Sometimes if I'm doing this.
Oh yeah, so the blood doesn't run
Yeah.
out.
I reckon this is that small, I could just go over one shoulder.
Yeah, this is like not even that much bigger anyway.
So then we just carried the meat back to camp, and while we were skinning out the hindquarters, some goats turned up.
Yeah, I'm rolling.
I'll go that Billy first and then the nanny.
Yeah.
Bah!
Get that one, get him. Shotgun. Yep, down.
Doc, I'll send you the invoice for that. It'd be about $5,000. But nah, seriously, you know, the old government spends a lot of money shooting goats. So hunters, if you are in a spot, you know, we've already shot our deer, we've finished hunting deer for the trip. If you see a couple of goats like that, bomb them up. Because, yeah, we spend money getting rid of them. They are a pest. So bloody do it. Right, so we've boned out all our meat. Well, we haven't actually boned it right out, but we've skinned those hindquarters and taken the hindquarters off the H-bone and just hung them up here. There's just, I think it's just like a bit of a shower setup or something. I don't know what it is. Random little building below the hut. But and I've just opened them up and I've semi-boned it out, but see, I've just opened the hindquarters right up. I've done it properly with the cuts in the meat. You know, there's our round silver side rump off the bottom, so we can still bone them out properly and do all our proper cuts. And I've just left the shank meat on the bone there, so we can either bone that out or whack it off and leave it on the bone for doing our shank brews. But we've just opened it up and it's hanging there like that in the shade with a nice breeze, and just to get the heat out of it for the couple of hour walk out. And it's only been here for about 15 minutes. It's already basically cold to the touch. So another 20 minutes, it'll be stone cold and it'll be able to go in our pack, and it'll be fine in our pack for the 2-hour walk out, and sort of the hour's drive home, and then it can just go straight in the fridge or whatever Tom's going to do with it. I've got plenty of meat in the freezer, so Tom's just going to take that. I think we're going to drop a bit off at his mate's place on the way too. Just a bit of a side note on the goats. Just after we finished boning out the venison there, we shot down, because I know we dropped down to the river. We could see 2 of the goats laying there dead, but one goat I knew I hit it a little bit high, and I couldn't find it in the river, so I actually climbed up the slip, found it, hung up, and just made sure it was stone dead. And just when, because I just gave that bit of advice, if you do see some goats, just bomb them up. But it's one thing, if when you do bomb them up, it's really good to actually go over there and check your kills, unless you're 100% sure, or unless it's miles away. And even then, if it is real far away, don't just bomb up and have a crack and think, oh, stuff it, they're only goats. You still need to, you want to do good ethical shooting, confirm your kills. You should be able to confirm your kills almost 100% of the time. Every now and again a goat might have, you'll place a really good shot on a goat, and it might have fallen down into some crap or something that's dangerous to get to. Don't go try to do it if it's dangerous, but just always 100% do your best, you know. And you do hear people say things like, oh, it's only a goat, or I'll do a bit of practice on some goats. Any animal, you know, it doesn't matter if it's a goat or a possum or a rat or a mouse or a deer or whatever the hell it is. It's all an animal, and you should always be ethical. Only take shots that, always do your best, only take shots that you can be about as sure as you can be that you're going to hit it and make a clean kill. And if it is a bloody long way away, or it's the shot's a bit iffy and the animal's in a position where you're thinking, man, I'm going to really struggle to confirm this kill if I don't hit it, and I'm not 99.9% sure I'm going to make a good kill on it, then just don't shoot at it, you know. So that's a little bit of a rant there, but it's just good to do, because if you shoot enough animals and you just sort of shoot it and look at it laying dead on the ground, even if it's 20 meters away, and walk away, eventually every now and again you're going to shoot something, it's just paralyzed or something, and you're going to leave a live animal laying there to die a bloody terrible death, you know. So as hunters, it's bloody important, I think, to just be right on top of all that sort of thing. We'll head on out of here. The dogs are enjoying a good blast around. Bloody happy to be out and about. So that's it, guys. End of the first quick video. So look, this was a real quick throw together. I hadn't even planned on making a vlog or any type of video from this trip, but you know, we ended up getting a little bit of footage here, and then we sort of decided halfway through, hey, we'll throw a little video together from this and get the whole ball rolling on these videos. It's been something I've been meaning to start for quite a while now, and I haven't for so many different reasons. I've been so busy doing all sorts of other things, but the ball's rolling. And look, another big part of making this video is to gauge your guys' reaction. So if you guys really like this video, if you want to see more like this, comment, like, share, like the page, comment telling us you like it, what you want to see. If we get a good feedback, if we get a good response, we will put more effort into this. If we don't, we won't. Got my gun over there, the 308 that I use on this trip. I've been soaking the ball with some KG12 for the last couple of hours. It is 20 to 2 in the morning on a Sunday morning. Spent a good few hours throwing this video together. Gonna finish cleaning my gun, get a little cup of tea, maybe get a few hours sleep. Sweet, cheers guys, we'll see you next time.